The Karacal versus the Jackal 2. Very similar shoes from La Sportiva. What are the similarities? What are the differences? Which one should you pick? Hello, my name is Justin, and on this channel I love to share the adventures I take, as well as the gear I bring along while I'm taking them. So in this video we're going to talk primarily about the Jackal 2 from La Sportiva, and how it differs from its cousin, the Karacal. So let's talk similarities first. Both the Jackal 2 and Karacal have the same outsole lug pattern you'll find on the bottom of the shoe. They both have the same midsole stability you'll find on the heel cup of the shoe. And they both have the same heel drop and stack height, both at 16 to 23 millimeter and 7 millimeter respectively. And finally, these shoes feature a wide last, probably one of the widest lasts you'll find on the La Sportiva mountain running lineup. Let's now talk about some of the differences between the two shoes. So we talked about the outsole pattern being the same, but the actual rubber used on the outsole is a little different. So on the Jackal 2, you have that red XT dual compound rubber, which means that some of the sole has a stickier but less durable rubber, and the rest of the outsole has more durable rubber on high wear areas. And that should enhance the lifespan of the outsole itself. The Karacal, on the other hand, has the Friction AT Blue rubber, which is a more durable rubber throughout the entire outsole. That may mean that the Karacal's outsole will last a little longer than the Jackal 2's. It just might not be quite as performant in areas where traction matters. So this Karacal does have a couple hundred miles on it, and I couldn't be any more but pleased to see just how little wear you'll see on the outsole. So I think the blue AT rubber is doing a really great job as a long-lasting rubber. And to be honest, I am actually pretty satisfied with the wear I'm seeing on the Jackal 2 after a couple hundred miles on the Colorado Trail. There's no doubt to me that this one pair of shoes would have made it to Denver from Durango. Alright, let's talk midsole. So the Karacal's midsole is pretty bog standard, EVA's foam throughout. There is a little bit of a hardness difference in the midsole between the heel and the forefoot. The forefoot's going to be a little softer at 32A when compared to the heel area at 35A. The Jackal has a little bit more going on inside. La Sportiva does spec the same EVA foam in the midsole, except that there are PU inserts inside both the heel and the forefoot. La Sportiva calls this their Infinitu PU, which I'm sure sounds way cooler in Italian. So what the heck is that? PU stands for polyurethane. So instead of just the EVA foam, there are polyurethane inserts inside. So what does the polyurethane inserts give you? So in my experience running in both of these, I'm guessing that the PU inserts just make the midsole a little bit more springier. Like when you put these shoes on for the first time and you're used to something like the Mutant, it does feel like you get a little bit more energy return when compared to just the EVA foam that both the Mutant and the Karacal have. From my research, polyurethane used as a midsole compound does seem to allow the midsole to last just a little bit longer. I was trying to figure out what those PU inserts actually look like inside the shoe. These shoes have tons of life on them, so I'm not going to cut them apart right now to see myself. But I did find some computer renderings online on a La Sportiva video, as well as finding a Spanish retailer who has one of the exploded midsoles. Unfortunately, the whole video is in Spanish because I think that guy has a lot of great information. So one of the biggest visual differences between the Karacal and the Jackal 2 are going to be the upper. They have kind of a different upper design. Both are quite lightweight and both have that kind of mesh molded to plastic kind of sandwiched layering thing going on. For me, I just preferred the Jackal 2's upper. It's a little bit more beefier on the toe cap. If you see, this one is coming off. My Karacals are a little bit older than my Jackal 2's. They have a lot more mileage on them. But I think that this is just going to be a little bit more durable design on the Jackal 2. One big difference you'll find is on the backside. I found that the Karacal's heel area, heel cup, is just a little bit more wider than Jackal 2. So much so that I'll actually slip around in the Karacal unless I have the laces on lock laces. So for that, I actually prefer the Jackal 2 for running or doing my ultralight backpacking. There might just be a little bit more padding in the Karacal when compared to the Jackal 2 in both the heel area as well in the tongue. You'll see that the Jackal 2's tongue is just a little less padded than the Karacal's. Using both, I didn't find that either one was more or less comfortable than the other. For comfort in the upper, I usually rely on my sock to add a little bit of cushion around my foot rather than rely on something like the upper or the tongue of the upper. I did measure the shoelaces and the design pattern of how the shoelaces are laced onto the shoes. They're practically the same. Okay, so weight, how much does one weigh compared to the other? So the Karacal comes in at 340 grams per shoe at EU size 46, and the Jackal 2 comes in at 325 grams on an EU 46. So pretty similar, but the Jackal 2 is just a little bit lighter. So which one should you pick? I found that the Karacal is a really great shoe when your route has both paved road and pretty easy buffed out trails to run on. I do a lot of off trail and a lot of rocky, fairly technical trails. So Karacal wasn't my favorite shoe in the La Sportiva line. I obviously like something more like the Mutant or the Akasha 2. Those are much better shoes for what the type of terrain that I like to run on. The wide heel cup was kind of a deal breaker on any kind of technical terrain, as I made the shoe for me kind of sloppy, but altogether like a really nice trainer for when you need to take in long miles during training. So the Jackal 2, I found, at least for me, just that the heel cup just was way more compatible with my foot specifically. And it's why I picked this shoe for my Colorado Trail FKT attempt. The wideness of the toe box was really important to me, since with all those miles, my feet were going to swell. But I didn't want a sloppy shoe, so being able to lock in that heel cup was kind of important to me. The Karacal is a little cheaper than the Jackal 2, so that's something to take into consideration. If your foot does fit the shoe and you don't care about those PU inserts, the Karacal might be a great shoe for you to look at rather than the Jackal 2. If grip is more important to you, check out the Jackal 2, which has that dual compound outsole rubber. It's going to be a little bit more performant where grip matters on things like talus or easy scrambling. And since both shoes have that super wide last, it's a great shoe suggestion for people who want to use Sportiva shoes but have a wider foot. So that's about it. I hope this brief tour through these two similar models of La Sportiva mountain running shoes can help you lock down the decision between the two. If you have any more questions that you think I can help answer, leave a comment down below and I'll try to get to it. There's also an accompanying blog post on these two shoes. You can read it in the link in the description. And until I see you again, long may you branch.